I know more. I'm right. He's wrong. That's competition. And then sin lies crouching in the door. We read in Malachi that the priests had an issue here too. Of all people, the priests would have been the ones that I would have thought would have had it made. Their job was to serve God. That was their job, to worship him all the time. And yet, they weren't happy either. They sought to gain for themselves. They kept the good fish and let the bad stuff be offered to the Lord because they deserved it. They were God's servants. They deserved the best. See, here comes the competition thing. I'm better. I am better than what I'm getting. I deserve more than what I'm making. You know, this is the competition thing. Okay? I'm right. He is wrong. They sought to gain for themselves. God says, I will send a curse upon you, and I will send a curse upon your blessings. In fact, I have cursed them already because you do not take it to heart. It's never about us, but always about God. Even Paul says in Romans, now that I'm saved, I win. Exalt me. Lord, I lift my name on high. No, he says he wishes himself accursed for his countrymen in the flesh. So what is he talking about? Here's what he means. He means it's not a competition. With the goal being to be the first one to the finish line. For him, the goal is just to finish the race with as many of his brothers and sisters as he can. Think about this. Think about that woman I was talking about who had trained for 2 years to be in a marathon. What would that race have been like for her if she didn't care about winning, but rather hung back with runners that needed some encouragement? And for her, the goal was simply to cross that finish line with as many of them as she could encourage to finish the race. Then it's almost a guarantee she's not going to be the first one to finish. But she will finish with the most relationships. She will finish with the most people surrounding her. She will finish with the sense that she has done something good for people. Not because she's going to get anything out of it, but just for the sake of helping your brothers and sisters. That would make the race very, very different. For Paul, that's what this life is like. It's a joint running of the race. We're all headed for the same goal line. Now, most of the time when we read in the book of Hebrews about this race that we're running, a lot of times we think this is a race to salvation. And that's the goal line that we're all looking to get to. Okay? That's not the case. Paul's talking to believers. They had already come to faith. The race we are living is a race from faith, not a race to faith. That would be important for us to remember. Because we are all headed to the same goal. As long as we have placed our faith and trust in the Messiah, bottom line is this. Doesn't matter how long it takes to get there. Doesn't matter the path we take. Or how many people are in front of us. How many people are behind us. The official at the end is still going to have a big blue ribbon with a heavy gold medal just for us. What we do in the meantime is life. That's our life. How are we playing that game? Are we in competition with each other? I can lead more people to the Lord than you can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. His gift is better than mine. I wish I had that gift. I wish more people wanted to come to my home. I wish that in the body of Messiah, I wasn't only the little toe. I wish I was more like the eyes, the hands, the feet. Are we in competition? We see it all the time in siblings, and we see it in families in general. Teenagers struggling to find their own voice, asserting their own authority over themselves, seeing it as a competition between them and their parents. And we see it in the congregation, in the body of Messiah. We see it in leaders who believe that because of their position has given them some kind of power, they can lord it over people. We see it in congregants who really think they know better than the leadership, challenge authority in unbiblical manners. And we see that in the Bible too. Look at Korach. Korach said, "Who gave you the right, Moses?" And see what happened to him. The fact of the matter is, we are all given roles to play, but it's not a competition. When you look at it, we are all equals before the Lord. Those who have the gift of hospitality and love someone into the kingdom is no different, no better, no worse than the one with the gift of works, who by their service to somebody serves them into the kingdom, or through a gift of teaching teaches into the kingdom. There's no difference, and it's not a competition. So what does all this mean? All this means that there's no need to be threatened by anyone else. In fact, because it isn't a competition, and because of the fact that the goal is to cross that finish line with as many of our brothers and sisters as possible, we should be doing everything that we can to teach and train and build and edify each other and assist and help, so that we're all using our gifts to build the kingdom, and we all cross that line at the same time with relationships in place. Each and every one of us is qualified to be in relationship with other people. That's what God did for us. He created us in that image with the ability to be in relationship. This past weekend was an incredible weekend. It was a Tres Dias weekend, and there were a lot of guys there who needed to be there. We believe that God doesn't make mistakes. He intentionally brings people to the weekend for a particular reason, and he meets them right where they're at. One of the things that we talked about on the weekend, not directly competition, but the idea that when we think we're in this competition, we have to put on a face. We have to put on a mask. So one of the other things, and I think the most important thing about not viewing life as a competition, is that we don't have to pretend anymore. Do you know how much energy, time, effort goes into pretending to be something we're not? Because we think that we're supposed to be, or because we think that the presentation of this person, this other self, this mask, covers up something that we don't want other people to see. We need to stop living in a world of competition and just do the best we can with what we've got. We see this easily in the idea of testimony. One person would never tell another person that their testimony wasn't as good. It's their testimony. You can't be in a competition over your testimony. And so what we're going to do to close out the message time is there are 3 people that I want to share just a little bit of testimony for you. The first one is Craig Metzer. The second one is Abby Short. And the third is my friend here in the back who said to me this morning, "I've got a testimony that I'd really love to share." And they don't have to be long, but you're going to hear in each person the fact that God touched them. and touch them in a mighty way. And you can't compete with that, because that's awesome, right?
I had the privilege of attending church this weekend, just past weekend, and I wouldn't say that I was really excited about going to it. I've been on some retreats before. It's been probably 20 years before I've been on one. I wasn't interested in going through any feel-good exercises or sitting around campfire singing Kumbaya. But I kind of felt it was something that God had orchestrated for me. So I thought, I'll go with an attitude without expectations, and we'll see what happens. And I was absolutely amazed that it seemed like everything there was orchestrated just for me.